In this video, I will cover the W213 AMG E63s while showing this 2021 Wagon example. I'll do a quick review on this car, and then I'll provide a buyer's guide with everything you need to know about the current E63s. The E63s is the flagship AMG version of the E-Class that follows over 30 years of AMG E-Class cars. As with any AMG, the first thing that comes to mind is the engine. In the E63s, we have the M177 LS2 engine, which is a 4-liter biturbo V8. This engine has a completely forged rotating assembly and a closed-deck engine block. While the compression ratio is a relatively low 8.6 to 1, the engine is fed with up to 24 psi of boost. Power in the E63s is conservatively rated at 603 horsepower and 627 pound-feet of torque. There is also a regular non-S version of the E63 with 563 horsepower, but it was not offered in North America. Backing the engine is AMG's 9-speed automatic MCT transmission. Its wet startup clutch eliminates the torque converter to improve the responsiveness of the transmission. Putting the power to the road is the 4MATIC Plus all-wheel drive system, which actively varies power between the front and rear axles. A limited slip differential is also fitted to the rear axle. The E63s Wagon is able to launch from a standstill to 60 miles an hour in just 3.3 seconds and passes through the quarter mile in 11.1 at 122 miles an hour according to Car and Driver. When driving the E63s, it feels rear-driven all the time, which really increases the driving enjoyment. If you want to power only the rear wheels, you can do that as well with the drift mode. The steering is very sharp in this car, and the weighting of the steering is surprisingly good. Body roll is kept to a minimum level. This car has adaptive air suspension on all 4 corners that can also adjust the ride height. The suspension is generally on the stiffer side given its sporting character, but not at all too harsh for me. The transmission is very responsive to shift paddle inputs. The braking power is plenty for street use. The driving experience is so rewarding that it makes you laugh at anyone who chooses a performance SUV over this wagon. The exterior styling is new for 2021. The profile of the W213, both in the wagon and sedan versions, looks sleek and well-proportioned. The front of the car looks aggressive, but the rest of the car is more subtle, especially in this graphite gray color. The interior of the E63s is another compelling aspect of this car. Everything you touch has a high-quality look and feel. The seats are comfortable over longer drives, and the dynamic bolsters in this car hold you tight in the corners. The 2 screens are very configurable and the graphics are sharp. There is a bit of a learning curve to know where every setting is in some of the submenus, but they've kept important items such as the climate control and heated seats with physical buttons, which is good for ease of use. The Wagon is especially practical given the extra cargo space with the rear seats that fold at the press of a button. The Wagon weighs about 100 kilograms or 220 pounds more than the sedan, so there's not much of a weight penalty for the extra usability. The drawbacks with the E63 are very limited. I don't like the fake exhaust pipes. They look funny from the perspective of cars following you, just like something looks missing from the car with those holes in the bumper. Also, it doesn't sound as good as older AMG models. Inside, I think some of the touch controls on the 2021 steering wheel are harder to use than those on the previous year's model. The Pirelli P0 tires that they fitted to this test car are also likely letting down the car just a little bit with a wet grip. Most E63Ss came with Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires, which are overall the better tire for this car. The E63 is also a very expensive car, as this wagon carries an MSRP of $112,500 US or $127,900 in Canada. This example is equipped is over 140,000 Canadian. The sedan is a few $1,000s less than the wagon, of course. Fuel consumption for normal driving is around 18 miles to the gallon, or 13 liters per 100 kilometers, with a mix of city and highway driving. But keep in mind that that's normal driving in the comfort mode. In my opinion, this is the best car on sale in the Mercedes-Benz lineup for the 2021 model year, and its downsides are minimal. This wagon version has a special street cred among Mercedes enthusiasts because it is a relatively rare car, and it has a more of a sleeper, under-the-radar factor about it. So if you're interested in buying an E63S, here's what you need to know. We'll start by discussing changes by model year. 2018 was the first North American model year of this car. For 2019, the steering wheel was updated with a new design with a smaller airbag cover, and heating for the steering wheel became available, as well as a few other minor equipment tweaks. For 2020, there were minor equipment changes again, and the AMG drive unit dials were added to the steering wheels on some cars like this Canadian model. For 2021, many changes were made for the facelift. While the engine remained identical, suspension tweaks were made to soften the ride of the 2021 model compared to the older years. In my opinion, they got the ride comfort just right for the 2021 model. The facelift exterior of the E63S features a new front-end design with vertical grille slats instead of a single horizontal bar on the pre-facelift model. The headlights were updated, and the amber markers were moved to the edge of the bumper rather than inside the headlights. The rear of the sedan was updated with a new taillight design and changes to the bumper. The rear styling of the wagon stayed pretty similar to the older model, with just minor updates to the taillights and bumper. The interior was changed for 2021, including a new steering wheel design once again with an even smaller airbag cover. The infotainment system was updated with the newer MBUX interface and a touchscreen. On the center console, they removed the click wheel and left a bigger trackpad in its place. Also, in the center console, the little IWC clock was removed for 2021. Also notable for 21 is that the sport seats were discontinued for the North American market. For 2021 US models, they also removed the button that lets you control the passenger seat settings from the driver's side. And finally, for 2021, the exhaust became a bit quieter compared to the earlier model years. Now moving on to optional extras for the E63S, here is a general overview. On the exterior of the car, you can upgrade the standard wheels to the forged cross-spoke wheels in either silver or black. You can upgrade the headlights to the LED units in the US, but the LEDs are standard in Canada. You can get the night package, which blacks out some of the silver exterior trim. Carbon fiber mirrors are also available, as well as carbon fiber bumper trims. The panorama roof is optional on the sedan, but it's standard on the wagon. Carbon ceramic brakes are also optional. They feature bigger 2-piece 15.8-inch front discs and 14.2-inch rear discs, surrounded by bronze-painted calipers. A carbon fiber engine cover is also available, but it's only a relatively small piece. A performance exhaust system was available in 2018 and 2019, but became standard for 2020. Inside the car, you can get an optional dynamic Alcantara steering wheel. You can also spec an Alcantara headliner as well, but this headliner is standard in Canada. You can spec a few different interior colors and trim options, including carbon fiber trim. On the older pre-facelift models, you could get optional sport seats that I mentioned earlier. As for features, US buyers can choose from a host of individual features such as heated rear seats, soft closed doors, and 3-zone climate control, while things like keyless go are standard in the US. In Canada, most of the convenience features are bundled together in the premium package, and items like keyless go are in the package because they are not standard equipment in Canada. The optional Intelligent Drive package includes a long list of self-driving assistance features. The Burmester high-end surround sound system is an available option on sedans, but is not available on wagons. And that's a general overview on the options available on this car. Moving on to reliability, these cars are only up to a few years old, so it's hard to really say how good they will be just yet. So far, the M177 engine is shaping up to be pretty reliable, so hopefully this will continue into the future. Looking at the market for E63s, the prices are high for pre-owned models, given that they are not very old and that the car market is strong at the moment. Starting with the sedans, asking prices for 2018 models are right around $70,000 with around 60,000 miles. Then prices pretty much consistently rise with every model year and lower mileage. Wagons, on the other hand, are extremely strong in the used market and trade around their MSRP with low miles. Wagons are not as common as sedans, and as I discussed before, they have that extra cool factor among enthusiasts. This 2020 wagon, with a decent selection of options and 7,000 miles, sold for $141,000, or about $20,000 above MSRP. This auction was on Bring a Trailer in September 2021. This 2018 wagon, with lots of optional extras and 37,000 miles, sold for $115,000 recently as well. So it's pricey even to get into a used E63s, and I don't see these cars losing too much value anytime soon because of all of the talk about Mercedes scaling back on the E63s for 2022. The E63s is a great car, and I think it's one of the best overall packages that AMG has ever done. It retains some of the characters that made us love older AMGs, but brings in all of the new tech advancements that make the car more versatile and fun to drive. Stay tuned for an upcoming video where I'm going to compare the W213 E63 to the W211 E55, which is its predecessor from 16 years ago. Otherwise, thanks for watching and subscribe for more videos like this one.